I'll go. All right, so I guess before we get started, you can go ahead and introduce yourself. Anybody that's watching, it's just a discussion that I'm having with a brother. I stand on the stance of that polygyny, the practice of having more than one wife, not to be confused with polygamy. Polygyny is not a sin. It's not against God. It's only against religion, church, etc. My brother did reach out to me, which I'm glad he did, and I will say that I do thank him because it's not often I get to have these discussions with brothers who are believers. Sometimes people feel that because one may have a different view, that we can't actually have discussions, you know what I'm saying, as men. So the brother reached out to me by email. I did get back with him late, you know what I'm saying, and I found him on Instagram. We also got some things in common too. We'll talk about later too. I saw on your Instagram. I liked.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you about that. It caught my eye. I was like, okay, all right, we got some things in common. Yeah. So I'm actually excited, brother, to hear what it is you want to present. I do know that you did send me a PDF file. I didn't look at it, but I pulled it up because I had the feeling that that is something that you would want to present. Without do kind of introduce yourself and tell what is it that you believe.
Yes, I mean, my name's Michael, brother, and just want to have a quick conversation on about polygyny being a sin and condemned according to the New Testament. So yeah, we can, if you can pull up the PDF real quick.
Okay,
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess just a little bit more. So like, how long have you been in the Bible and things like that?
I've been studying since 2009. So
okay,
been doing ministry for over 14, 15 years.
Okay, and have you always been a person that felt like something like polygyny was condemned, or is this something you discovered like over the years?
Well, I knew that marriage according to the Bible is one man, one woman.
Okay.
But recently when this topic started to come up more, we just wanted to go deeper into it and dive more into the scriptures. So yeah.
Okay, last but not least, when you said we, who's the we?
Just myself, just looking into it. Hold on one second, brother. Let me go grab some water real quick, man.
Okay, yeah.
It's like 2:50 a.m. and so hold on, give me 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead, grab your water. You good? All right. Yeah, so we'll wait for our brother to get back, but I am excited about having a dialogue or discussion with like-minded people who do believe in the Bible, who may have a different view on polygyny. So I'm excited to see what my brother has to bring forth. This is not scripted, it's not planned. Yeah, something I'm gonna, matter of fact, let me get ready to pull it up, so therefore it's ready by the time he gets back. Let me see, let me hit the share the screen. Okay, yeah, there it is. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I'll be ready for it. Let me see. Zoom open for 1 month. Zoom is requesting a backup. 1 second. Okay, there we go. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it and having an actual discussion, and we see where it goes. See where it goes. Just waiting on my brother to get back. ProPolybook.com. You can get this book here. Book 1 is Biblical Polygyny a Sin? So you can get it at ProPolybook.com. Ladies and gents, anybody that check this out, there will be a book 2. Will be called Is Biblical Polygyny a Sin? Book Volume 2. So there will be a book 2 as well, and we get to go over it. So yeah. Oh wait, I think I did have one more question before I started with my brother as well. Because it's our first time speaking, so I'm assuming that we don't know anything about each other. So yeah. I did have one more question, Mike, before.
Okay, yeah, I'm back. Yep.
Started. Yeah, okay. One last thing. Are you the version of the Bible that you read, are you King James version only, or you deal with different versions?
It doesn't matter. I mean, I can look at the actual Hebrew and the Greek as well. So I'm not just a KJV only person.
Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, cool. All right, so let me go ahead and pull it on up really quick. All right, here we go. Just to confirm, this is what you wanted me to look at, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. So we can go to the second. Am I able to click it or?
No, but I can click it for you. Just let me. Yeah, I got you.
Okay, yeah. So let's go to the third one. The third one
The third one?
Old. Yeah,
Okay.
Old Testament.
Wait, all right. Well, since it says something about polygyny, could we read that one too?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. It says,
so this is a PDF. This is a PDF that I made. Talks about how to correctly answer that polygyny is considered adultery in the New Testament. So in the Old Testament, it was lawful, but in the New Testament, it is condemned. So I believe that we are under a new covenant, and there's been a change of law, like the Bible clearly says. It's not according to the old covenant, like Jeremiah prophesied, that God the Father spoke through Jeremiah the prophet. Right, he says, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers. So if it's not according to, that means it's a different covenant. Okay. So let's go to the third slide real quick.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
So adultery was only a man sleeping with another man's wife, correct?
You asking me? Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Okay. So the man or the husband could not commit adultery against his wife. This is why he was able to have multiple wives and it not be a sin, because the status was only based on the wife. All right, so we'll go down to the next one.
Slide. Okay.
Okay, so adultery is based on the status of the woman only. So this is why a man could have another wife, add on a wife, it would be called polygyny. But if that man, I would like to use the arrow, but if you can,
right here.
Yeah. If this man slept with this man's wife, that would be adultery. Right, he'll be committing adultery against him, and she will be committing adultery against her husband. Okay, so in the New Testament,
Rolling on.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Adultery is now based on the status of the man and the woman. So we see looking on a woman, which is not married, because Jesus say looking on a wife. It says looking on a woman, correct? To lust after her commits adultery against his wife. We can see this because in Mark 10:11, and he saith unto them, whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another committeth adultery against her. You won't find that anywhere in the Old Testament, a man committing adultery against her, right? In Matthew 5:28, Jesus says, but I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman, doesn't say looketh on a wife. Most people will say that he's talking about a wife, but it says looketh on a woman. And we can even look at the Greek. It's no possessive. To lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his heart. So this man looking on another woman, right, is committing adultery against his wife. And then we can scroll down to the next slide as well.
Right.
So New Testament, but I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. Now we know that it's not talking about two single people, right? So if this man is desiring to be with this woman to marry her, then that's fine. There's no fornication, there's no sin, right? But if he's just lusting after her just, for the sake of it, then that's fornication. But it's not adultery. Jesus says, whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his heart. So this married man is the one who can commit adultery with her already in his heart against his wife. You see that? So so Jesus is talking to a married man. It's a single man cannot commit adultery with a single woman, only a married man. And then we can go down to 7 real quick, and just to kind of show. So Jesus speaking to married men, Matthew 5:28, you see that on a woman it's just gune, and then when you see Matthew 5:32, gune autos, which is his wife. So it lets you know it's possessive, his wife. But you don't see that in 28. And then Isaiah 4.
But before we do, can we deal with the first part first, and then we can kind of
Go ahead.
Okay, so I do want to go back up really quick. All right, so the part here, there's some things that we do agree on, there's some things that we don't agree on, and this would be great. We can definitely go through the whole slide regarding.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the part here where it says adultery was only well, as we don't have to deal with that because we agree with that part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Part here dealing with what we call the New Testament. Now, earlier I did ask you if you were King James version only, and you did say that you do read other versions. You're able to go to the Hebrew and you're able to go into the Greek as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. That being said, I first want to pull up. Before we do, are you familiar with the William Tinsdale Bible?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with
Mm-hmm.
the Coverdale Bible, 1535?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Those two translations that put a wife there, I saw that. But the rest of, so yeah, it's the rest of the translations when you look at it. Go ahead, go ahead.
Are you familiar with the Matthew Bible as well?
Go to Bible Hub and just bring it up, and that way we can compare and see all the other translations versus two translations. Go ahead.
Do, brother. But before we do, I'm asking you, are you familiar with these first? We definitely going to do it.
I've heard it, but I haven't looked at them or studied them. So yeah,
that's exactly what we're going to do, and we're also going to go into even the Hebrew New Testament too, because you did say that you can go into the Hebrew too. So we're going to take a look at all of these. But before we do, they do exist. There's the Matthew Bible, do exist, 1537 edition. We also have Coverdale Bible. You can get them both here. This one is the one I'm actually speaking about. The one that goes from Psalms to Revelation.
Mm-hmm.
William Tinsdale Bible, 1526. All right, so let's go ahead and pull it up real quick. Where we at? 1 second. Oh yeah, it is on this one here.
Now let me ask you a question. When you translate from Greek to English, you know that it's sometimes biased by the translator, correct?
Well, you asked a question. I got to show this first.
Okay, go ahead.
It's my turn, and you can ask me any question that you like. But we got over the first part first. We'll speak about this. You ask anything that you like, but that's why I asked you in the beginning. Where you KJV only, and you made that clear that you wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that being said, I got an idea. Hold on 1 second. I'm going right here. Coverdale Bible Hub. Oh, well, we could just go here, unless you want me to pull it up from Bible Hub.
Yeah, Bible Hub can actually show the rest of the other translations compared to that. So
yeah.
I've already seen it.
But right now,
go to Bible Hub.
We on the version that I just mentioned first. But again, we can go to anything else. One thing you'll like about me, I don't like to move from one thing to the next.
Yeah, so let's just stay on Bible Hub. Let's go to Bible Hub.
Right.
Because it has all the different translations.
Bible, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Okay, cool. So Genesis. Coverdale. Okay, here we go. Let me see 1 second. How do I? Okay, here, Coverdale Bible. Boom. Matthew, chapter 5. Oh, sorry about that. Here we go. 3, 4, 5. Chapter 5, verse 27. Let me make it bigger for us real quick. It says, "You have heard that it was said to them of old time, Thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a wife, lusting after her, have committed adultery already with her in his heart," meaning in his heart. So here it is, long even before the King James Version Bible, it had the word wife there. And I'm going to prove that even the King James Version of the Bible, even still, is still talking about a wife. I'm going to prove that though. But before we do, I want to show this first. It's from the Coverdale version of the Bible, 1535. It literally said, but I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a wife, lusting after her, have committed adultery already with her in his heart. We'll go back to the next one real quick. We did the Coverdale Bible. The next one is the Tinsdale Bible as well. Let me go out here. Boom. Go down to Matthew 3, 4, 5. Here we go. Chapter 5. Same thing. Adultery. It says, "You have heard how it was said of old." I'm sorry. You have heard how it was said to the of old time, "Thou shalt not commit adultery." But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a wife lusting after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart. Now, before we continue, what do you know about the the Tinsdale version of the Bible? That was
Say it again.
the Tinsdale Bible was the first what?
What do you mean the first what? The first translation as far as? Yeah, I've heard about the Tinsdale Bible, but when you compare that translation with other translations, you look at the majority. The majority is looketh on a woman.
I don't argue that, but the Tinsdale version of the Bible, it was the first what? There's something important about the Tinsdale version of the Bible. It was.
Go ahead, tell me.
Because remember, your argument is other translations. You said we go to BibleHub.com, and we can look at the other translations. The majority of the translations will have the word woman in it and not the word wife. But I'm asking about the Tinsdale Bible for a reason.
Go ahead.
What's the difference between this one? What is the importance of this one? This was the first what? This was the first English Bible translated from the original languages. Am I wrong?
I guess I would have to. I think so, but I would have to look at it just to confirm before I agree.
Can you read what that says right there? Right here.
Yeah, the first English Bible translated from the original languages. Okay.
Oh, I'm not wrong on that. So your argument was making the comparisons to the other versions. However, I just took you to the first one, dealing with the translation. I'm not even done though.
Okay.
To the Matthew. That's one reason why I said even deal with comparisons. It don't matter because I just took you to the first. We're dealing with the translation when we're dealing with English.
No, so, that's good, brother. But there's still other things.
Brother, hold up, you gotta let me finish because when you did your thing, I didn't cut you off. I let you bring your presentation, and I didn't cut you off. I let you do your thing. I ain't even got started yet.
Okay.
It's a Matthew Bible real quick. Matthew Bible Hub. Oh no, that's gonna go with Matthew. Hold on, wait. I think I need to put. Hold on, wait. Matthew Bible 1537 Bible Hub. I think this is it right here. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I think this is it. No, hold on. Okay, I guess I'll pull it from here because I don't know what's going on with that. Matthew chapter 5, verse 27. Let me make it bigger just to make sure it's seen. Okay, here we go, brother. It says, "You heard how it was said to them of old time, Thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a wife, lusting after her, have committed adultery with her already in his heart." So again, as you try to give your argument later dealing with the other translations, I'm going to versions that would be before the other versions of the Bible that you're mentioning. And it had the word wife in it. Now, I got a few more, and then I want to deal with everything that was on that slide.
Okay, cool.
You brought out. So we did the Tinsdale Bible, which is the first English Bible translated from the original languages. We went to the Coverdale Bible in 1537, and then we went to the Matthews Bible, the Coverdale Bible is 1535, and then 2 years later you have the Matthews Bible edition as well. And look, not to mention when you look here on the Matthews Bible, it even tell you right here, on the back. Look at that. Combining the translations of William Tinsdale and Miles Coverdale, edited by John Rogers. Literally, so these two form this one. And then later we're going to learn why that's important dealing with even the King James Version. But that's later though.
Okay.
But let's pull it back up. It uses the word, "But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a wife, lusting after her, have committed adultery with her already in his heart." It had the word wife there in the earlier versions. And later, as you and I both know, it's a woman, which is still going to be important later. That being said, let's pull this up real quick. Boom. You can see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, cool. So it says Habisora Hakidosha al Pi Matai Perek Hey. So which is what, brother? What are we looking at there?
Yeah, I don't know, brother. I would have to actually, look at it and just check it for myself as well to make sure, because I can't read Hebrew. So
I apologize. I assume that you did, and the reason why is because earlier you did say that you could go into the Greek and the Hebrew. That's what you said.
yeah, just to look at the interlinear and to see, like, let's say, using a lexicon as well to understand the meaning of the word. So you're just bringing up the Hebrew, but I want to
Yeah.
understand the meanings of the word. So do you have a lexicon that goes with it?
For me, I can read Hebrew, so I don't need that. Like that's not my fault. You get what I'm saying? Which I'm sure we can agree with. That's not my fault. No different from if you dealt with Arabic, or if you dealt with Greek or anything like that wouldn't be your fault.
Yeah, but
That's
even
up to you to go and do that studying as you
but
do
even
your due diligence.
but even as an English scholar, somebody would
Because
need a dictionary or a thesaurus, correct?
I don't want to gear too far off. I want to just read this real quick.
No, no. What I'm
I don't
saying
want
is,
to hold up,
yeah,
brother. You'll be able to present your case and your argument, but I don't want to gear too far off.
but I asked you for a lexicon.
You asked me for a lexicon, but this is the actual Hebrew New Testament, and we're
Okay.
gonna go into the Greek too. We're going
Okay.
to the
Okay.
Greek and we're going to the Hebrew because you said that you'd be able to go into both. That's what you said, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I ain't even got started yet. So number one, it says Habisora, that has the root word basar, which means the news or the
Mm-hmm.
gospel. That's what you would know in English. Then we
Mm-hmm.
have Hakadosha, has the root word kadosh, which is set apart or holy. So essentially, this says the holy gospel. Al meaning according, P, which is according to the account of Mattai, which is the nickname for Matityahu or Matthew. Perek, which is a chapter. Hey, which is the Hebrew letter. Hey, which is the fifth letter, equal to the numerical value of 5. So essentially, we have the Holy Gospel according to the count of Matthew chapter 5. The verse that you had on that PDF was this one, verse 28. So it says, Va'ani omer lechem kol hamis tachel, ba'isha lachmod ota na'of, na'afa belibo. Now, believe it or not, earlier I mentioned about the book that I wrote. This is actually in my book of me going over this in the actual Hebrew text. So in short, the ani omer, and I say lechem unto them, call all or everyone, hamis techel, everyone who eyes or looks, the isha, on a wife. That's the word there. On a wife, lachmod, lusting, otam, after her, na'af, na'afa belibo, have committed adultery with her in his mind. So in the Hebrew text, anybody who knows Hebrew, you ask them, isha is the word for wife. That's the word there. Prime example, look here. Do I have it pulled up? Just to give an example, because you talked about looking it up.
Mm-hmm.
If you look here in Genesis chapter 2, the verse that, now I ain't gonna say Yah, but people love to go and quote and deal with. In 24, it says, Al-Hin Ya'azav Ish et Aviv Va'et Imo Ve'ravach Va'ishto. This word here. Let's click on that. Let's see what that says right here.
Strong's H802. Isha. Isha.
That's the word for wife. Look, it says you right here on to his wife. The word Isha, the Hebrew letter Aleph, the Hebrew letter Sheen, and the Hebrew letter Hey. Once again, the Hebrew letter Aleph, the Hebrew letter Sheen, and the Hebrew letter Hey. That's the same thing you see right here. The Hebrew letter Aleph, the Hebrew letter Sheen, and the Hebrew letter Hey. This is the prefix dealing with that word. But that's the word there. Aleph,
Okay.
Sheen, Hey. That is the word that we see here. That is the word for wife. That's what we see there. Now later, as you go back and review this, you will be able to go and do the research and you will confirm, okay, it's there. Now, that being said, when you look here, since we're here in Matthew 5, Going here, once again, you have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery, which you and I both know, Exodus 20 and 14. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart. So, that being said, we have the word gune, as you talked about earlier. Let's click on that.
Strong's G 1135, gune. Gune.
And in English, that's where we get the word jani from. It tell you right here. It says a woman, specifically a wife. So it says it right there. It says it's a woman, but it specifies to be a wife. So even right there, brother, it's telling you specifically a wife, which makes sense because when you look at Exodus chapter 20, verse 17, in Hebrew and English. Oh, why did it got small? Hold on, wait, that was weird. You never did that. Hold on. Exodus 20 and 17. Boom, there we go. Lo takmod bet re'eka, lo takmod eshet re'eka, va'avdo va'amato, v'shomro v'komoro v'kal asher le're'eka. So lo takmod bet re'eka, you shall not covet the house of your fellow, of your neighbor. Lo takmo, you should not covet eshet, the wife re'eka of your neighbor. The word eshet there, and look at what word there. Aleph, sheen, hey, the same exact word. Isha.
Strong's H 802, Isha. Isha.
That's the same exact word. So again, it says lo takmo bet re'eka, lo takmo eshet re'eka. The avdo and his slave, the amato and his female slave or serve, the shoro, which is dealing with, and his ox, the komoro has a root word komor, which is a donkey or an ass. Then it says asher le're'eka, that is your neighbor or that is your fellow. So when we look at that passage, and when we look at here, Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23, 24, no, yeah, 23 it is. For the commandment is a lamp and the law is a light, and reproof and instructions are the way of life, to keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. That word nokorea. Then it goes on to say here, lust not after her beauty in your heart. It's the same concept. Neither let her take thee with her eyelids. It's the same exact thing that Christ was basically mentioning in Matthew or Matitiyahu. Going back here, I take the stance that was actually talking about a literal wife, as I just shown in English. I just shown in the original Tinsdale Bible, which is literally the first English Bible translated from the original languages. So we go into the first. We went to the Greek and we went to the Hebrew, which predates any other version that you would try to make a comparison to. Then the next one here that you mentioned, and he said unto them that whosoever put away his wife and marry another committed adultery against her. You mentioned how that that it wasn't mentioned anywhere else in what we call the Old Testament. However, what you failed to tell the people, the context of this was not about polygyny. It was about divorce. Anybody who knows the Bible and understand Mark the 10th chapter and Matthew chapter 19, it's the same story. Look, when we go here, Matthew chapter 19, it's the same story. Look, I tell you right here, concerning divorce. Anybody who read verse 3 through 9 know that I'm telling the truth. It's the same thing you read in Mark chapter 10, verse 1 through 12. It's the same story, but let's go to Mark real quick.
Okay.
Mark account.
And then I have a question for you.
Okay, cool. I'm actually almost done with your presentation. Then yeah, you can ask any question that you like, brother. So Mark chapter 10, it tell you right here, Yeshua's teachings about divorce, or Jesus teaching about divorce. So let the record show that this was never about if you can't have more than one wife. This was only about divorce, putting away a wife. Polygyny is not about divorce. Polygyny is about adding wives, not taking away wives. So I just want to make that clear before we go and read that. Polygyny is the practice of having more than one woman or more than one wife. Mark 10 and Matthew 19 was the same story. Is not about if you can or can't add more than one woman. Let's go ahead and read it. Here we go. Verse 1. And he arose from thence and came into the coast of Judea by the farther side of Jordan, and the people resorted unto him again. And as he was wont, he taught them again. And the Pharisees came unto him and asking him, is it lawful for a man, watch this, to put away his wife? This has nothing to do with polygyny. So I don't even know why that's even on here. This story was about if it was lawful for you to divorce your wife. This is about, his argument is about polygyny, adding wives. But that was never the conversation. And it was a setup question. It was a setup question to box him in. That's why it says tempting him. That's why it says tempting him. Now, anybody who's read Deuteronomy 24, 1 through 4, know that that's the question that they asking him. It's a setup question based off Deuteronomy 24. So they know and understood, you know it don't say that in the Torah, but they're going to ask him that because they were tempting. Let's continue. And the answer said unto them, what did Moses command you? That's important. That's important. The Bible never commanded a man to take two wives, just like it don't command a man to take one wife. So let that be known and for the record. I do not teach that the Bible commands you to take two or more wives. I don't teach that. So that's the context of this. And they said Moses suffered or allowed to write a bill of divorcement. Remember, the question was it lawful to put away his wife? The topic is about divorce, not polygyny. Let's not play games with this. Then he says, and Yeshua answered and said to them, for the hardness of your heart or mind, he wrote you this precept, meaning this command. But from the beginning of creation, dealing with the time of Adam and Eve, God made them male and female. Then he goes on to say, for this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and shall cleave to his wife. And I'm going to deal with that because they love to go to Matthew dealing with this. I'm going to deal with that when we finally get to Matthew 19 with the same story. And they twain shall be one flesh. So then they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God have joined together, let not man what? Part asunder. Part asunder. That means divide, to split up. Why? Because the question was not about polygyny. It was about divorce. It says, and in his house, his disciples asked him again of the same matter. What same matter? Of the topic about divorce. And he said to him, that whosoever shall put away his wife and what? And marry another committed adultery against her. That's what the brother got here in his presentation. Here, this one here. Mark 10:11. But now we know the context. This was talking about if you literally divorced your wife for any old reason and then you dumped her to go and marry somebody else. No, you can't do that. That's what this is talking about. This ain't talking about polygyny. All you gotta do is start in verse 1 and read it down. Then it says in verse 12, which he did not put, and if a woman shall what? Look at the topic it's still on. Put away her husband and be married to another. She committed adultery. It's the same concept. I'll end with this. Matthew 19, which is the same story. Look at that. Concerning divorce. Even tell you right here in parentheses. Look at that. The same thing we just read. It's about divorce, guys, not polygyny. Don't let nobody trick you into thinking to taking one line out and thinking that it's talking about something that it's not. It's talking about divorce. That was the conversation. We're not going to change the conversation. It was about divorce. So here we go. Matthew 19, verse 3. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him. There it is again. And saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? Every cause meaning what? Every reason. This is Matthew's account. Can you just put away for any old reason? We know the answer is no, because Deuteronomy chapter 24 verse 1 to 4 don't teach that. Verse 4. And he answered said unto them, have you not read that which he made them at the beginning, made them male and female, and said, for this cause or reason shall a man leave father and mother and shall cleave to his wife, and they two shall be one flesh? The question that he's asking. Remember, Adam and Eve never got a divorce, and that's what he's speaking about. Then it goes on to say, Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder. Brother, you agree that that's talking about divorce, put asunder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Verse 7. This is how we know that the topic was never about polygyny. Because look at how they replied. They said to him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? This was not about polygyny. Why is the Christian church trying to go to Matthew 19 and they love to go to verse 5 and 6, which I can deal with later, but I'm saving that for a purpose. But this is about divorce. He said to them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts or minds, suffered you, allowed you to divorce your wives. But from the beginning it was not so. And I say unto you that whosoever, oh yeah, you said, why? Because Adam and Eve never got a divorce. So from the time of Adam and Eve, they never got a divorce. So in other words, he said to them, Moses, because the hardness of your hearts allowed you to divorce your wives. But from the time of Adam and Eve, it wasn't so. They didn't get a divorce. So let me clarify that. Verse 9, and I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whosoever marry her, which is what? Put away, do commit adultery. Why? Because they wrongfully put away their spouse. When we look at the word here, for the word for adultery, fornication. When we look at that, that's the word gune. Here's the word for fornication, porneia. Let's click on that.
Strong's G 4202. Porneia. Porneia.
And let's go down and see that. It says forbidden sexual intercourse. It says adultery, fornication, homosexuality, lesbianism, intercourse with animals. This is all Leviticus 18, Leviticus 20, if anybody don't know this. Line 2, it says sexual intercourse with what? Close relatives. That's Leviticus chapter 18. Then it says sexual intercourse with a divorced man or woman, and it gives Mark chapter 10. Look, the same thing that he put right here. Right here. It didn't say polygyny, adding other wives. It don't say that. Then it says metaphorically, meaning in a metaphorical sense, it means the worship of idols. That's Ezekiel chapter 16, Wisdom of Solomon 14:12. You got Revelation 2. Then it says, of the defilement of idolatry, and cured by eating of the sacrifice offered to idols. Strong's definition. Harlotry. That's prostitution, including adultery and incest. In a figurative speech, it means idolatry, aka fornication. Nowhere on here do we see having a second wife. That don't exist.
Okay.
So here it is in this text. We now know what the fornication is. There is the word zanah or zanot in Hebrew. And I think I'm done. Let me see. Was that it you put there? If I say unto you, so look on adultery is heart. So your argument. Yeah. So you had said here about married or whatnot. That text, we just went over that in the text already. So I did address that already. So my stance is adultery. The physical act of committing adultery is the same thing that it's been. Don't sleep with another man's wife. Now I know you said you had a question for me. Move to your PDF. So go ahead, brother. What's your question?
Yeah, so the question is in Mark 10:11. Well, actually in the Old Testament, could a man commit adultery against his wife?
Let me pull it up real quick. Therefore, anybody that's watching can see what you asking me about. Because I know the scripture that you're asking about. But I want to pull it up so therefore it can be understood. Okay, so go ahead. Ask your question again. You asked about Mark.
Mark 10:11.
Mark 10:11. Okay.
So in the Old Testament, could a man commit adultery against his wife?
In the Old Testament, could a man commit adultery against his wife? Here we go. We got Deuteronomy chapter 22, and this is what it says here. It says, if a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So shall you put away evil from Israel. It says, if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto a husband. So even if she was betrothed, it comes from the Hebrew aras, which is a legal relationship. It says, and a man found her in the city and lie with her. The next verse says, then shall you bring them both out into the gate of that city, and you shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, let's find out why, because she didn't cry out. She didn't say nothing. Being in the city. And the man, that's finding why he had to die. Because he had humbled his neighbor's wife. So shall you put away evil from among you. So for what we call the Old Testament, adultery is when you slept with another man's wife.
Okay, so my question to you was, can a man who has a wife commit adultery against his wife in the Old Testament?
Not if it's there, not in the sense of because he took another wife. So let's make that clear. So meaning my stance is if you're asking me that, never in the sense because he took a second wife. Never.
So how would he commit adultery against his wife in the New Testament?
In the New Testament, well, number one, I'm glad you mentioned that term. For the record, there was no such things as books called New Testament. There's no such thing as
New Covenant. Okay.
There's no book called New Covenant either. That's religion. That don't even exist. And the reason why I'm stopping there is because people who have been indoctrinated try to separate the Bible. That don't exist. So let's make that clear for the conversation. At the Council of Laodicea, that's when that came about. And just real quick, I'm not changing the topic, but I just want to show that real quick. That's when you get the word New Testament from. Council of Laodicea. That's when this came about. Man began to do this in the 4th century. They came with 60 canons. Canon is just Galatians 6:16. Canon is just a Greek word which means rule, authority, or measurement stick. You agree with that?
Yeah, but let's stick on the topic, brother.
Okay, I'm gonna just read this law real quick. This is what it says right here.
Okay.
It says, these are the books of the Old Testament, and then they names them here. And these are the books of the New Testament. I didn't want to gear too far off, but I just want to show that. But go ahead, brother.
So how can a man commit adultery against his wife according to the New Covenant?
According to the New Covenant, we just read in Mark chapter 10. I don't deny what the Bible says. I just always deal with the context of what it's saying.
Okay.
So dealing with that, if you wrongfully put away your wife, dumped her, in other words, for somebody else, you committed adultery against her. Now you breaking the covenant. You got to remember, he told you from the matter of fact. Let me go pull it up real quick.
How is he violating the covenant by marrying another?
Hold on. Remember, the question was this. We can never get away from that.
Because the marrying another is causing the violation of it.
Yeah, only if you wrongfully put away. Remember, the question was about, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And look, and one reason how we know that, because if I ask you right now, what is sin according to chapter and verse? What is sin?
Transgression of the law.
So which means, what does transgression of the law means?
Sin.
I don't think you
breaking a commandment. Breaking a commandment. Is that what you're looking for specifically?
1 John 3 and 4. I do agree. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. That word transgressive means what?
To break or to violate.
It means to rebel. In other words, correct.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, but the correct term would be rebel.
Okay.
To commit a crime in the Torah.
All right.
So it says, for sin is the transgression of the law. The law is written where?
It's written on our hearts.
That's no. It's not. You're talking about Hebrews, and that ain't even happened yet.
Okay. Well, let's go back to my question, brother, because we're kind of.
You can't deflect. It says transgression of the law. Where is the law written at?
I don't know. You tell me, brother.
No. We can't do that. I don't know. You tell me. Because
no, I don't. So I don't know how to answer your question. So I don't know how to answer your question. You tell me.
Brother, we can't do that, brother. Look, one thing we can't do is play games. You know where the law is written at. Where's the law written at, brother?
I don't know how to answer your question. I'm serious. Where's the law written at?
No. I'm asking you. Where is it written at? It says the transgression of the law. Where is the law written at? How do we know what the law is? We
have the Bible, so the Word of God, right? Is that what you're looking for?
No, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the actual answer. Where is the law written at? It says sin is the transgression of the law. Treat me like I've never picked the Bible up. Where is the law? Because look, Paul said this. I don't know why we got to do that, bro.
Bro, because
chapter 5, verse 13.
You're not answering my question in Mark 10.
It says, until the law, sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed when there is no law. When you look at the verse before that, Romans 4 and 15, it says, because the law worketh wrath. For where no law is, there is no transgression. Meaning, if it's not a law against it, it can't be counted as a sin. Where is the law?
So, brother, if I just gave you an honest answer, I don't understand how to answer your question. Then let's keep moving.
No, we're not gonna deflect, brother. We're gonna make sure we on one accord. Where is the law written at? You telling me you don't know where the rules at?
Brother, we have the Bible. It's written in the Word of God. We have it. So what are you specifically looking for? I already just answered that.
Sin is the transgression of the breaking of the law. Where is that law written at? Meaning, for example, Romans 6 and 23 said, for the wages of sin is what?
Is death.
Okay, then. So how do I know if I don't know if death is coming on the way if I don't know what sin is? For example, I don't know. Look, the same Apostle Paul said this, because we can't get away from that, bro.
Why are you not answering my question, brother? We're
not going to do that until we admit what sin is. Paul said this. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? God forbid. Even Paul said, I had not known sin. I mean, I didn't even know what sin was, but by the law. For I had not known lust, except the law had said, thou shalt not covet. Where's that written at, brother?
It's written in the law. It's the Torah. Is that what you want to say?
Where is the Torah written at? Where?
What do you mean, where is the Torah written at?
Which books of the Bible is considered to be the Torah?
Oh, old.
You just said old. What do you mean?
Old Testament, the Pentateuch, the Mosaic Law. Is that what you're...
Which books was referred to as the Torah?
You're talking about Deuteronomy. You're talking about Leviticus, right?
That's two. You said Pentateuch. That means the 5 books.
Yeah, the 5. Yeah. So okay, come on. Let's keep the conversation moving and let's get back to my question.
You agree? Is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, to Deuteronomy? That's the Pentateuch of the Torah.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
bro. So that's all I was saying, bro. That's why I wouldn't let us go nowhere else, because it's like you couldn't. It was like it was too hard for you to answer. Where's the law? Sin is the transgression of the law. The law is found in the Torah, in the Pentateuch. That's all I'm saying, bro. That's why I didn't let us go nowhere else. Okay, cool. Now, and I apologize. Look, I know I get passionate. All right, so I think I'm gonna let you ask me a question. What's the question you want to ask me?
Yeah. So the question was in Mark 10 specifically, because you didn't answer it.
Okay, let me pull it back up.
Because the sin that Jesus is talking about is marrying another.
Mark 10 and 11, brother. It says,
yeah.
Said unto them that whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another. That's what you're talking about right there.
Yes, commits adultery against her by marrying another and putting her away. So even if you...
Oh, go ahead.
So even if he marries another, right, he's committing adultery against his wife, because you won't find committed adultery against her anywhere in the Old Testament. You can give me a scripture or a verse about in the Old Testament a man committing adultery against his wife. You gave me scripture about a man committing adultery against another man's wife, but you did not give me one verse about a man committing adultery against his own wife.
Correct. Now there's a reason for that, brother, because it doesn't exist. When you look here in Mark 10, the context about and marry another was not talking about you can't get a second wife. That was talking about you wrongfully putting away your wife and marrying another. That's why I said whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another. The first word there is divorcing her and then marry her, in other words. Not saying that he can't take a second wife. Now check it. For clarity. I think, was that you? No, I'm mixing
It says marrying another commits adultery against her.
Hold on. For clarity, could you find another passage? Just for clarity.
Luke 16:18.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's deal with it. Luke 16:18. Same.
Marrying
story.
another. Yeah, marrying another.
Right? Luke 16. Let's go ahead to it. It says, whosoever shall put away his wife, same thing, and marry another, committeth adultery. It says, and whosoever married her, which the same thing right here, bro. And whosoever married her, watch this, that is put away from her husband committed adultery. Brother, that's exactly what I'm saying. So look, that proves what I'm saying here. Because the next part, look at the key words. Put away, divorce. And then whoever came and married her. Who's the her? The woman that was divorced from her husband. That's the context of it. The context was not about polygyny.
Brother,
For example, hold on, real quick. One of the reasons how we know it wasn't about polygyny is because further out, when we look here in 1 Timothy.
What if he just puts his wife away but doesn't marry another?
Brother, let me finish this last point. Ask whatever you want to ask. This is one key how we know that it wasn't. Because the Apostle Paul, who was literally a chosen vessel of the Messiah in Acts the 9th chapter, as we know, look at what he says here. This is a true saying. If a man desires the office of a bishop, that's an overseer, a superintendent, he desires the good work. Now it's about to give a command. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife. One wife. That's talking about a bishop. So if Christ had already taught that, as you believe, then the same Apostle Paul, who was literally a chosen vessel to the Lord, he would have never said that bishops were commanded to have one wife. Bishops. That's not talking about people that come to the congregation, but a bishop. Then he said they must be vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach. Not given to wine, no striker, nor greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous. One to rule his own house, having his children in submission with all gravity. For if a man know not how to work, rule his own house, and how should he take care of the church of God? If you go down to verse 12, he said the same thing. Let the deacons be the husbands of one wife. Deacons, it specifies deacons are to have one wife. It also says that bishops were commanded to have one wife. That's the same thing we read right here in Titus. Same exact thing, Titus 1:6. Same thing. If any be blameless, the husband of one wife, having faithful children, not accused of right or unruly. For a bishop must be blameless as the steward or the manager of God. So if having one wife was already established by Christ, then it would have been no need for Paul to go on record to give the qualifications for elders over congregations, bishops over congregations. So now either we got a contradiction, because Paul is saying, look, if y'all a bishop or deacon, y'all must have one wife. That's not talking about people like you and I that go to the congregation, but only overseers if they desired the job of a bishop. That's one clue. I can give tons of evidence of how we know that the passage that you mentioned in your presentation was not about polygyny. It was about divorce.
Okay. So let's go back to Mark 10, because you're missing it. You're missing the
I ain't
sin.
missing it. You think I'm missing it, brother? We just have different looks. We just have different views on it. Mark 10 and 11. Go ahead, brother.
The marrying, whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another. If he just puts his wife away, he's not committing adultery. But if he marries another, he's committing adultery against her. Marrying another,
put her away.
Marrying another is committing adultery against his wife.
If he wrongfully put her away, look, it's like you missed.
No, brother.
You missed verse 1 through 10. It says teachings about divorce.
But brother,
about divorce.
But brother,
go ahead, brother.
Is there a command in the Old Testament, if a man divorced his wife in the Old Testament and married another, is he committing adultery against her?
Brother, right here in your presentation, like, brother.
No,
right
this talking about.
Hold on. You can't dictate how I'm gonna answer it. Right here in your presentation, It says adultery was only a man sleeping with another man's wife. But you turn around and ask me something that's already in your presentation. I made it clear earlier that I agreed with that.
Okay.
So, brother, hold on. You asked me a question that I told you earlier that I already agreed with, but now you turn right around and ask me again as if my answer is going to change. I agreed with the earlier part of your presentation. It's just that when I have different views on it. Now, my question to you is this. If you're saying that Mark 10 and 11 is about adultery, then according to the Bible, can you produce another scripture? Why did Paul say that bishops, deacons, and elders can only have one wife? If it was already established with Christ, you got to answer that according to the Bible. Give me another passage.
Brother, I gave you, there's Mark 10, there's Luke 16.
That's right? The same story.
Marrying another. is committing
Same
adultery.
story. Let me clarify,
So-
brother.
so
Can
hold
you
on.
understand it?
Can I finish real quick?
Clarity in another story
Okay, so
that will paint the same picture that you're speaking about?
let me ask you a question.
No, brother. Can you do that or not?
What? Wait, what are you saying? The same story?
Listening to respond, brother. Let's slow down. Okay. I'm asking
Mm-hmm.
if the Luke 16, 18, Mark 10 and 11,
Mm-hmm. And Matthew 19.
and Matthew 19,
It's 3 verses.
correct, of the same story. I'm asking, can you produce another passage to produce your argument outside of the same story? Because it seems that you and I have a different view on the same story. And the reason why I asked that is because remember I just asked you in 1 Timothy 3, Titus 1, it talks about the bishops, the deacons, and the elders. They were commanded to have one wife. Remember earlier I said if it was already established during them 3 scriptures that you mentioned during Christ, because Paul followed Christ. Why did he only say only bishops, deacons, and elders can only have one wife? If you could produce your evidence with another passage outside of that story for clarity, that would make even a more solid argument. Can you find that?
Okay, yeah. So basically when he said, he didn't say only bishops. He said it's the requirement that you must be blameless, that you have to be of one wife. So let's say somebody who has been divorced and remarried, right? Or has been divorced and remarried, divorced and remarried. They have multiple wives. This is what he's talking about, right? And then also someone who's in polygyny too, who has 2 wives or 3 wives, because you're only supposed to have one wife. This is adultery.
So question.
This disqualifies you from being a bishop.
Brother, we saying the same thing. You not understanding what I'm saying.
But divorce
I
and
don't
marriage
look, I couldn't be look.
Okay,
I couldn't be a bishop if I wanted to because I have more than one wife. Maybe you're not understanding what I'm asking you, bro.
I hear you, but it's
so show me
adultery.
then.
Marrying another.
Show me.
I just showed you in the scripture.
At this point, you're deflecting. Either that or you don't understand my question. I'm gonna ask it again. I'm gonna slow it down because you are not listening. Let's make it elementary. Paul followed Jesus, right?
Yes.
He was an apostle of Christ, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did he teach against what Christ taught?
No, he didn't.
Okay, so now we on the same plane now. If Luke 16, 18, Mark 10 and 11, and Matthew 19, 3 through 9, is for, if it was coming from your perspective, how you see it, just seeing that he didn't teach against Christ, why is Paul going on record saying that the qualifications, because we agree with that, you must have one wife? If Jesus already established one wife, then why is he saying bishops, deacons, and elders? So the reason why I'm mentioning this was because I'm asking, outside of that story, can you produce any other argument, any other evidence? The same thing you basically asked me. You don't see nowhere in the Old Testament where it says that. I'm asking the same argument on you. Outside that story, can you produce anything else that would literally paint the picture of what you're saying?
Okay, we can go to Romans 7 as well.
Thank you. All right. Romans chapter 7. You sure of Romans 7, right?
We can go to Romans 7, 1 Corinthians 7.
Which one you want to go to? We go to both.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, brother. Do you believe that, and this is the question that you didn't really answer. If a man divorces his wife, right? Let's say he just divorces her, but doesn't marry another, is he committing adultery against her?
My argument don't change, brother. Those stories was talking about the wrongfully putting away your wife.
My question, listen, you're not answering.
Okay, what you asking? Maybe I didn't understand your question.
Yeah, go back to Mark 10 real quick so you can look at it, and because you're not answering that question.
But we're running from Romans 7 now.
No, brother, let's go back to Mark 10 real quick.
Mark 10. Go ahead.
Okay. If that man just divorces his wife but does not marry another, is he committing adultery against her?
I'm gonna stick to the topic. If he does not wrongfully divorce his wife, because remember in Matthew 19, the same story, it says here, and the part of that, Let me answer the question, bro.
Okay.
And I said, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication. So Christ said that. Now going back to the Mark 10, the topic was literally, what therefore God have joined together, let not man part asunder. I asked you, was that talking about divorce earlier? You agreed. And in the house disciples, in the house the disciples asked him again of the same matter, the same situation, which was about divorce. That's the topic right there. He asked about the same matter. And he said unto them that whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another. That marry another, I do not take that as polygyny. I take that as literally, if you go back here, they was asking, was it lawful for a man to put away his wife? Literally. Remember in Matthew 19's account, it says here, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause, meaning for every reason? So that's why I'm saying I'm still sticking to the stance. If he wrongfully put away his wife, then that's an issue there. The topic was literally talking about divorce, not polygyny.
If he
go ahead, brother.
If he divorces his wife but does not marry another, is he committing adultery against her?
If he divorced his wife, why did he divorce his wife? I can't answer that until I get the context.
Let's just say for a lawful reason, right?
What's the lawful reason? Because me and you might got a different view on that. Fornication?
Fornication, yes.
So if he so let me make this clear. If he divorced his wife for fornication, that what you asking me?
Mm-hmm. But does not marry another.
And he doesn't marry another.
Mm-hmm.
No, so because if he divorced his wife for fornication, that ain't adultery. Is that what you asking me?
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you a question
right now. Hold on, wait, brother. How are you asking that? And it's right here in Matthew 19:9. Matthew 19:9 clearly says this, and I say unto you that whosoever put away his wife, except it be for fornication. It says, except it be for fornication. Why would you ask me that? And we just went over that a million times.
So let me finish.
Hold on, brothers. Now I'm not trying to ask you the question now. Romans chapter 7, you claim that you can go to something else. I want to see what you're going to show in Romans 7 and 1 Corinthians 7. So look.
The reason why I asked you that question is because the sin of adultery is marrying another, correct?
No, only if you wrongfully put away your wife. That's the sin of adultery.
Where does it say that he's free to marry
Hold
again?
on, brother. Hold on, wait. Because what you won't do, brother, is deflect. Let's go to Romans chapter 7, because you said Romans 7. Where we going in Romans 7, brother? So that we don't spend all day on that. We can we can literally come back and discuss that. But let's go to Romans 7 and 1 Corinthians 7. What argument you have here? What verse?
Because so let's go to 2 and 3, because so it says, for the woman which hath a husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth, but if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of her husband. So then if while her husband live she be married to another, she shall be called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man.
This your argument.
So when I was bringing in Mark 10, I asked you, if a man divorces his wife but does not marry another, he does not commit adultery. The adultery part is marrying another. That's what it is. It's marrying another. It's a violation of the covenant. You're not getting that. And that's what I'm trying to show you, that marrying another, adding on, is the adultery.
Nope. And look, the very verse that you just pulled up just cut you and sliced you in half, because look, it says, for the woman which having husband is bound by the law to her husband as long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of her husband. So then if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, meaning the law of marriage, so that she is no adulteress, although she be married to another man. Now guess what, brother? Paul left out the man. He didn't say, for the man which have a wife is bound by the law to his wife as long as she lives. But if the wife be dead, he is free from the law of his wife. So then if while his wife liveth and he be married to another woman, he didn't say that. It didn't say he shall be called an adulterer. But if his wife be dead, he is free from that law, so that he is no adulterer, although he be married to another woman. It skipped over that. Why? Because that's not adultery from your view. So the same verse you just went to proves my point. It's the same thing. And earlier you mentioned 1 Corinthians 7, which I don't know why you did that. I know you weren't going to go to 1 Corinthians 7 and 2. I was waiting for you to do that. But when you go right here in verse 39, it says the wife is bound by the law as long as her husband lives. But if her husband be dead, she is at liberty or freedom to be married to whom she will, only in the Lord. But why didn't it say the husband is bound by the law as long as his wife lived? But if his wife be dead, he is at liberty to be married to whom he wishes or will, only in the Lord. It literally left out the man. It didn't say both ways. So that's another reason why I'm asking you, outside of that story, because we clearly don't see eye to eye on that, and I'm okay with that. But outside of that story, do you have any other thing to support your evidence? You mentioned Romans 7. Hello, you mentioned Romans 7. We went to Romans 7. That was an epic fail. You also mentioned 1 Corinthians 7. Where in 1 Corinthians 7 are you talking about? Because we're there right now.
Let's just go ahead and end it, brother, because the thing is, you're not getting Mark 10 and
brother,
Luke 16.
Are we going to deal with 1 Corinthians 7 or not, brother? We clearly don't see eye to eye on that. Brother, and I'm okay with that.
Jesus already addressed it. He said marrying another is committing adultery.
If you wrongfully put away your wife. Look, just like you mentioned, you took one verse, but you did not get the whole entire context that was surrounding that verse. But then you mentioned 1 Corinthians 7. Are you talking about this right here? Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, every own husband. That what you talking about?
But brother, you
talking about 1 Corinthians 7 and 2? Because we're gonna deal with that too. Are you talking about that?
Yeah, you're not getting it, brother. The marrying another.
You're not getting it. You're not getting it.
Let me ask you one question.
No. You can't ask me a question until we go to 1 Corinthians 7.
Yeah.
1 Corinthians 7, bro, because you're trying to ask a question on top of a question. 1 Corinthians 7, that was your argument. That was your argument outside of the stories. So that's why I asked, can you show another for clarity? You just admitted that Paul followed Jesus. That means he should have been teaching nothing different from Jesus. So, being said, you agree that he didn't, and you agree that he was apostle of Christ. We agree on that. But here it is, he commanded bishops and deacons, etc., that they must have one wife in order to qualify to be one. We agreed on that, which means that he understood that, hey, guess what? Polygyny couldn't have been a sin. But guess what? Bishops and deacons, y'all gotta have one wife. So I'm asking you, brother, what was you talking about earlier in 1 Corinthians 7? Where? In any of these 40 verses? Where are we talking at?
Yeah, so I mean, what is adultery?
No, brother. You just asked me. No. Where in 1 Corinthians 7? We're not moving from that, brother.
Okay, all right. Let's deal with it then. 1 Corinthians 17 and 11.
All right, cool. 1 Corinthians what?
10 and 11.
Okay, great. You want to read? You want me to read? It don't matter.
Unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord. Let not the wife depart. That word depart also means divorce from her husband. But if she depart or if she divorce, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband divorce or put away his wife, basically.
Go ahead. So what's your proof on that?
Yeah, so if there is so basically covenants only end in death. The reason why Jesus is saying in Mark chapter 10 and also Matthew 5 and Matthew 19 and Luke 16:18 that whoever divorces his wife, right, and marries another, commits adultery against her, is because it's a violation of the covenant. Even if he lawfully divorces her for fornication, he must remain unmarried or be reconciled to his wife. Reason being is because covenants only end in death. Galatians 3:15 says that no man can annul or do away with the covenant once it has been ratified or once it has been established.
We're gonna go and read that further. You took it out of context. So
Galatians 3:15.
Put that Galatians 3 in your back pocket. Let's deal with this 1 Corinthians 7. It says,
we can go there.
It says unto the married. So these are people that's already married. I command, yet not I, but the Lord. Let not the wife depart from her husband. Divorce. We get that. But if she depart, meaning if she leaves, it says let her remain unmarried. That's the key word there. She can't go and deal with nobody else or be reconciled to her husband. But guess what though? Notice it didn't say let the man remain unmarried. Why is that? Because he can go and take another wife.
Doesn't say that.
Hold up, brother. Let me finish.
Where does it say that?
Hold up. Let me finish, bro. Let me finish what I'm saying.
You added.
Hold up, brother. You just got done adding if that was the case in your argument. So let me go ahead and finish. It says, but if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband. I didn't say the Bible said that. I was saying that it left the man out. Because from our view, and the people in the polygynist community, a man can marry more than one woman. A man don't have to remain unmarried, only the woman. So the very verse you just went to, it told the woman to remain unmarried. Unmarried if she depart. It says, or be reconciled to her husband, meaning what? She got to go back to her husband. It says, and let not the husband put away his wife. Notice it didn't say he had to remain unmarried. Why didn't it say that the husband had to remain unmarried, but the woman did? Why not the man?
Because Jesus already addressed it. He said that if he marries another,
but he addressed this. See, brother, you playing games, brother, because he addressed this about the divorce. But so you telling me that here it is, Paul forgot to mention that now?
Brother, it's already addressed in the Gospels that if a man divorces his wife, even if he lawfully divorces her for fornication and marries another, he commits adultery against her. Jesus said it.
The story was about wrongfully putting away your wife. So here it is. You went to 1 Corinthians 7, and I just shown you that the same principle didn't even apply to the man, because the woman had to remain unmarried, not the man. Only the woman had to remain unmarried. It's like you deflecting from that. Then we went to Romans chapter 7, and we just seen that the wife was bound to her husband as long as he is alive. It didn't say that the man was bound to his wife as long as she's alive. It's the other way around. As long as he is alive. Okay, and it said if he be dead, she is free from that law. It didn't say that about the man though.
So then why did Jesus...
It's like you're missing that.
Why did Jesus say that he commits adultery if he marries another?
I didn't answer it already. Because the context of the story was, if you wrongfully put away your wife. If you wrongfully put away your wife.
How does that cause adultery?
Hold on, bro. Because you wrongfully put her away. The word adultery, do you know what the Hebrew word for adultery means?
So if a man...
Hold on, brother. Hold on, wait. Do you know what the Hebrew word for adultery is?
Go to it. Go ahead. Go to it.
No. Do you know what it is?
No, let's
it's the word now off. It means whoredom, brother. Let's go and look it up, brother. In the Hebrew, it means whoredom. Let's go and pull it up real quick.
Okay, now, okay.
Yes. All right, brother.
Let's go there.
Mark 10 and 11.
Yep.
Mark 10 and 11. Check it out, brother. Here we go. The word adultery. Let's see what it is. To have unlawful intercourse, watch this, with another's wife. Right there.
Keep reading.
I am. To commit adultery with. Okay. So literally, with who, brother? It didn't say the husband, but it says with another's wife to commit adultery with. Then it goes on to say here, it says to commit adultery. That's what it means. So literally, where we went. Let's go to Luke 16 real quick.
So how is a man...
Hold on, brother. We can look the word up in every verse real quick. Because you said you did, brother. Hold on, let's stop this. Because you said you didn't know what it means. Now I'm showing you what it means. I'm showing you what it means, and now you asking me a question, but yet you don't even know what the word means. You said you didn't know what it means.
Yes, I did, but I asked you.
Yes, you did. So let me show you what it means. Here we go. I'm finna show you what the word means. Because look, brother, in your presentation, right here, in your presentation, you using the same system that I'm using, the Blue Letter Bible. So now all I'm doing is showing you the same thing that's in your presentation from the same site. So here it is. Let's go pull the word adultery. Here's the same word. Watch this, brother. To commit adultery, to be an adulterer. It says to commit adultery with, watch this, have unlawful intercourse with another's wife, brother. With another's wife. It says, look at this, of the wife to suffer adultery, meaning allowed to be what? Debauched. That's Deuteronomy 23 and 17. Hebrews 13 and 4. It says of Hebrew idiom, the word is used of those who at a woman's solicitation, are drawn away to idolatry, i.e., to eat other things sacrificed unto idols. We see it again right here, to commit adultery. So here it is, it's painting the same exact picture that I'm saying. So my question is, according to what we just read, did it say anything about if a man takes more than one wife? Did it say that?
Brother, if a man divorces, no.
You're deflecting. I see it on your spirit. Did it say that if a man take more than one wife, that's adultery?
We didn't read that there, but my question.
We didn't read that there. Hold on, I'm in this last point. You can say what you want to say. That's my point. We didn't read it there. So the very system that you use in your presentation, when you look that word up, it didn't say that. That was my whole argument the whole entire time.
Okay.
Which means that it don't paint the same argument that you put. If you say that it does, that means in your presentation, don't go use blue letter because you don't trust that no more. You don't trust this no more.
No, actually I do.
Your argument. You don't trust that no more.
But let's go back to Mark 10 real quick, and this will be the last time. Hopefully you can get what I'm saying here because this is clear.
Mark 10?
Mark 10, 11. Okay, so let's say if this man puts away his wife.
No, we're gonna do what shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Let's say if this man puts away his wife unlawfully but does not marry another, is he committing adultery against her?
And look, and notice I answered that earlier, brother. I answered that with this. It's
no,
like,
brother.
No, ain't no brother, my ass, bro. Look, I answered it with this. And I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication. In the same story. In the same exact story. So, brother, if you wrongfully put away your wife, brother, you are committing adultery, bro. If you wrongfully put her away. In this text in Mark chapter 10, verse 11. And Mark 10, verse 11. Here is the Greek word here. And that word there is literally here, brother. Here. It don't say nothing about polygyny.
Brother, go back.
Go back where?
It says, and marries another. I just asked you a question. If he wrongfully.
Oh, you talking about in the text? When you said back, I didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, I just asked you. Yeah, it doesn't. So if
and
he
marry another.
So if he wrongfully puts away his wife but does not marry another, is he committing adultery against her?
Brother, you just asked me, and I was very clear on that.
Okay.
I was very clear on that. Hold on, I'm gonna say it again. My answer has not changed. My answer has not changed. Hold up, brother. Okay. I'm going to answer it again. Matthew 19, brother. It tell you right here. This is what this story is right here. It's saying, and I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, brother. So that's why I asked you earlier, why is he putting away his wife? And you was finna give a hypothetical, like, no. For fornication? He was like, yes. I'm like, okay, cool. So if he put away his wife, with the exception of the reason of fornication, that's adultery. If he wrongfully put away his wife, that's adultery against her because they had the covenant that you were talking about earlier. Now I'm asking you, my question to you is this: can you produce another scripture outside of that story? Because you mentioned 1 Corinthians 7 and you mentioned Romans 7. Can you produce another scripture outside of that story? Yay or nay?
Yeah, no, brother. Yeah. So you're missing.
Hold on, brother. No. You're deflecting. You asked me a question. I answered. Can you produce another scripture outside of what you mentioned from Romans 7, 1 Corinthians 7, outside the story? Can you produce anything else?
Yeah, no, brother. It's all good. No, it's all good because you're.
No. It ain't all good because you're not gonna deflect, brother. If you, bro, either you gonna say no, I don't got the answer, then we can go back and talk about Mark 10.
Yeah,
but what you won't do, bro, is sit and deflect. I'm not gonna let you do that.
But Mark 10, brother.
No. Ain't no talking about Mark 10 until you got another scripture, brother. Do you have another scripture outside of Mark 10, Luke 16, and Matthew 19 with the same story? You said 1 Corinthians 7, we dealt with that. You said Romans 7, we dealt with that. You said Mark 10, 11, we dealt with that. And we pulled the word adultery, and it didn't say the same thing that you said. So even in your argument, you use a blue letter. You even talked about earlier, I don't do KJV only. Go to Blue Letter because it has different variations of translations. So you deal with different resources. So let's not play games. Now all of a sudden we read a definition out there. Now you got a problem with it. So that's why I'm asking, do you have another scripture that we have not went over today to produce your cause? Is there another scripture?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Okay then, brother. Look, that's all I... Now notice, bro. Notice that when you don't deflect, bro, I calm down. That's all good now. You don't. So let the record show you don't. Now would you like to ask me?
Yeah, so and when you go over and watch this again, like listen to my question, like really listen to what I'm saying and listen to what you just said, because you totally missed the fact that Jesus says, and marry another commits adultery. It's not the man putting away his wife. Like it's the marrying another, which is the committing adultery. And you're missing that. Because the way that you answered me, you said, please don't cut me off. Please don't cut me off. Because you can rewind this, and your answer, which you did twice, was you said if the man divorces his wife unlawfully, commits adultery. But Jesus didn't say that. Jesus said, whoever shall put away his wife and marry another. You were leaving out text and giving me a wrong answer. So that's why I was like, let's just end it, because you're not being honest right here with this part. And marrying another, it's clear as day. I believe what I read in the scriptures. Marries another, commits adultery against her. That's what it is. It's not the man just putting his wife away. Because if he puts his wife away but doesn't marry another, he's not committing adultery against her. But if he marries another, he's committing adultery against her.
Okay, so
that's what I was trying to get you to understand. But that's it, brother. It's getting late.
The fact that you thought that I didn't. That's why I asked you if Paul followed Christ. You said yes, correct?
Yeah.
And did Paul teach against Christ? Did he teach anything different from Christ?
No.
So that's why I asked you. If Mark 10 and 11 was from the perspective that you're saying, the marry another part, then why did Paul only command bishops, deacons, elders to only have one wife, seeing that he followed Christ, was an apostle of Christ? Why would he teach anything different?
Yeah, he's not teaching anything different, brother. But I mean, let's go ahead.
Hold on, wait. But if he's not teaching anything different, then how is it that me and you coming with a different conclusion then? If he's not teaching anything different, because remember, the same apostle Paul said this, and I'm going to go right back and deal with that Mark 10. The same apostle Paul said this in 1 Corinthians 11.
So, brother, it's
hold on. 1 Corinthians 11, he says, be ye followers of me, even as many just like I also am of Christ. So he's saying, follow me just like I follow Christ. So when we go back to Mark chapter 10 and 11, what you're saying is here is, and he said unto them, whosoever shall put away his wife, the divorce part. But you're focused on this part, and marry another. And you're saying that if he did that, then that's adultery. And because of that, you can't have more than one wife. You think I'm not listening to what you're saying? Brother, I heard what you said the first time I've heard this, brother.
So why'd you leave it out when I asked you to
brother,
answer?
hold on, let me finish. Because you made the argument earlier. I'm going back and address what you said earlier. You're thinking that I'm not, but look, let me put the camera. You thinking I'm not hearing what you're saying. You think I'm not understanding what you're saying. You said go back and rewind this, because you were saying that you're not listening. You're dealing with another part, and said that the part that you mentioned is adultery. One of the arguments, even before dealing with this, was you said that Paul followed Christ, and you admitted that he didn't teach nothing different from Christ. So here it is, the evidence that you brought up, 1 Corinthians 7 did not paint that picture. Romans 7 certainly didn't paint that picture, which means that either we got a contradiction, or you don't understand Luke 16:18, Mark 10 and 11, and Matthew 19, 3-9. The whole context was about if you can divorce a woman for every reason. Now let's go back to the Mark 10. Here it says Jesus teaching about divorce, not divorce and polygamy, as y'all would say. But then when we read here, and he said unto them that whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another, the part that you're talking about, committeth adultery. That word adultery I asked you, what did the word adultery mean? In that text, you said you didn't know. So you basing an argument on something off a word that you don't even know what it means. So that there shows that you based something off a word you didn't know. I asked you, what did the word mean? In Mark 10 and 11, if he committing adultery, and I asked you, well, what that word mean in the text? I don't know. Then how are you telling me what it is if you don't even know what the word adultery means? If you don't even know what it means, the very source that you use in your presentation, because we still ain't even go, look, we ain't even go over, matter of fact, bro, you still got more dealing with Isaiah 4. Do you care to go over this?
I mean, it's simple. People can look at it. They can just, go to my link and cite in. But
right here, I'm saying that you're wrong. Right here, I'm saying you don't know what you're talking about.
How?
You want to know? Okay, so go ahead. Present your cause.
I mean, it's simple. Isaiah 4:1. Most people say that this man is taking 7 women to marry them, but it doesn't say that he took them as wives. That's adding in the Bible. Mm-hmm. Clear as day. It doesn't say that the one man then took the 7 women as wives.
And which version of the Bible is this, brother? Just for clarity, because remember earlier I did ask you, are you King James version only? And you said what?
No.
No, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, so for the record, you just said that you're not King James version only. That being said, brother, check this out. Here we go. Isaiah 4:1.
Mm-hmm.
Good word version. Let me put here we go. 1 second. Good word version. Is this the good word version? No, this ain't the good word version. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Good word version. I think it's the good word. Hold on, let me make sure. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. Is the standard version. Here we go. Good words translation. Right here. Can you read that for me real quick, brother?
Yeah, it says, when that day comes, 7 women will grab one man and say, we'll eat our own food and provide our own clothes. Just let us marry you for your name. Take away our disgrace.
Oh, you said you in King James version only, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what does the word marry you mean?
Okay, so it means to marry. So these women are coming up to this one man and asking him for marriage.
Okay, so check this out. In the King James version, right? There's something you may not have known. Watch this. We're gonna pull it up in the King James version. Here we go. King James version. Something I want to point out. Okay. King James version. No, it might not be KJVA. It might be in the oh, I know. Hold on.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Hold on 1 second. I want to show you something first.
Okay, it's fine. But I'll show you how it's just added to the Bible.
Hold on. I want to show you something first. And then whatever you want to bring out. Bring it out. Hold on 1 second. I think this is it here. Okay. So right here, it says, when this happens, 7 women will grab the same man, and each of them will say, I will buy my own clothes, my own food and clothes. Just marry me and take away my disgrace. When you click here at the footnotes, it says, take away my disgrace. If a woman did not have an husband or children, it was thought that God was punishing her. That's in the actual footnotes of the translators. Did you know, if you think I'm lying, brother, the Geneva Bible, are you familiar with the Geneva Bible? Matter of fact, look, let me just pull it up real quick. The Geneva Bible. You familiar with the Geneva Bible?
I haven't really looked into it, but yeah, I've heard of it, yeah.
You haven't looked into it. Great. So you have the Geneva Bible, the 1560 edition. If you want, I'll show it to you. You have the 1587 edition. You have the 1599 edition. Check this out. Let me pull it up real quick. Isaiah 4:1.
And then after this, I want to ask you a question.
Okay, I got you. Bible Gateway.
And this will have to be the last one, man, because it's 4:17. I got some work to do.
Okay, all good, all good. Geneva, here we go. This is the Geneva Bible, $15.99. Remember I said there's a 1560 edition, which I literally have right here next to me. I can go get it, and I can show you the footnotes inside the Geneva Bible. Then you have this one. It says, and in that day, 7 women would take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread, and we will wear our own garments. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Check it. Can you read that for me? What that say right there in the footnotes that the translator said?
Yeah, be thou or our husband, and let us be called thy wives.
So in the footnotes here, what does it say right there?
First, so they thought it would be without and head and husband.
Is that marriage?
Yeah.
All right, brother. So in short, one of the first questions I asked you was you King James version only. You put new revised standard version. I showed you in the Geneva Bible, which predates the NRSV, and I showed you in the footnotes. That's what they wrote in the footnotes. The translators understood that to be marriage. For example, the word name in Hebrew means what?
I don't know.
I'll end with this, because you said no.
Yeah.
I'll end with this. Isaiah 4. Here, Isaiah 4:1. Your name right here in Hebrew. Shame in Hebrew. Look at what it says, brother. It says, an application as a mark of memorial individuality. Now watch this. By implication, it implies honor, authority, character, fame, renown. That's what you know as reputation.
Yeah.
Here it was saying to being under his authority, no different from when we read 2 Chronicles 7:14, my people which are called by my name. That's by his authority. That's literally marriage. The translators understood that. You said that you didn't know much about the Geneva Bible, but it had that in there on your presentation, the NRSV. What year did that come out? The NRSV.
I'm not sure. Let me just ask you this question real quick, brother. I got to get ready to head out because
1989.
Okay.
1989. I just shown you one in 1599, and the translators understood that to be marriage. What's your question?
Yeah, the NRSV is saying marriage as well too. But so let me give you an example.
Wait, you said it says marriage?
Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
You just admitted that the NRSV says marriage, but your presentation didn't say that. 7 women would take hold of one man. What are they doing? Playing hopscotch with him? Saying on that day, saying we would eat our own bread and wear our own clothes. Just let us be called by your name.
Yeah, it's basically saying the same thing. Can you hear me?
So it's saying marriage.
Yeah, they're asking to be married by this one man. But let me ask you a question. There was a
your
man.
presentation don't say that, bro. We can't just fly past that.
Bro, my goodness.
You just said right here, the text does not say the man married 7 women, but you said that you ain't King James version only. It says we cannot add to the Bible and teach something that is not there, but I just showed you what was there. You pulled up a version in 1989. I pulled up one in 1599, and it's there. What's your question, brother?
Okay, can I ask the question without you cutting me off?
Go ahead. What's your question?
Okay, let's say a man from America went to Africa, and then 7 women come up to him and ask him for his hand in marriage. Did he marry them?
If 7 women came, if a man went to Africa and 7 women asked for his hand in marriage,
did he marry them?
Biblically? Or are we talking biblically?
No, I'm just giving you a scenario.
No. I can only answer that biblically, because when we look at marriage is what?
Brother, I'm asking you a question. Do you know if he married them or not?
If they made an agreement, the answer is yes. If he agreed, because remember it said, only let us be called by thy name. So the answer would be a flat out yes from the biblical view. From the biblical view. Let me make this clear, brother. You asked me. Let's just use me for example. I go to Africa. Hold on, brother, because I want to make this clear. I go to Africa. I'm a man that follows the Bible. This is my culture. 7 women come up and ask me, hey, matter of fact, look, check it. We're going to take it a step further. Same thing. If a woman came up and say, hey, look, we gonna eat our own bread. Now, bread comes from the Hebrew lechem, which means food, and wear our own apparel. Like, we're gonna provide our own stuff. Only let us be called by your name to take away our reproach. If that happened to me, the answer would be a flat out yes. Even the translators understood that.
Does the Bible say that this man married the 7 women?
Yes.
Where does it say that he took them as wives?
Hold up. Here we go. Right here, brother.
They're asking him a question. Where does it say that he took them?
Hold on, look. Let me read it. Be thou our husband, and let us be called your wife, to take away our reproach. For so they thought it would be without a head or husband, which also proves that polygyny can't be a sin. Because think about it, brother. If polygyny is a sin, as you said earlier, Isaiah 4:1 has yet to be fulfilled. So let me get this straight. Jesus came in Mark 10:11, Luke 16:18, Matthew 19 and 3 through 9, and says, no, you can only have one wife if you marry another. But in Isaiah 4:1, which has never been fulfilled yet, says something different. You said you ain't King James Version only. That's implication of marriage. Did it say that?
Bro, the Bible does not say that the man took the 7 women as wives. You just.
So what did he do then? So what did you imagine that he did? Did he say that? Oh, do you imagine that he says, nah, you know what, brother? You know what, women? Nah, we can't do that.
Brother, we don't know, and you can't use it as a proof text to say this is.
I'm asking you, what did you get? Well, meaning, what do you get from? Do you get that he turned them down?
Brother, if the Bible doesn't say, I don't answer it.
So did Isaiah 4:1 come up with the sin?
The Isaiah 4:1, we do not know if the man married them or not, so we cannot use that. Why would
the women ask to marry them? Remember, hold up, because look, what you forgot is the next verse.
Because there's a shortage of men, because there's judgment that happens in the
land. The
next
verse says this, brother. In that day shall the bud of the Lord be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent, and the pleasant for them that are escaped of Israel. Why did it say that escaped of Israel, brother? Why is that? That escaped of Israel part? Because that's very relevant to verse 1. Why?
Okay. I mean, if you read chapter 3, it's talking about there's judgment coming. There's going to be a shortage of men in the area, and these women come up to this one man and ask him for a hand in marriage. But the text does not say that he took them as wives, and so this is why you cannot use that as an assumption. I got to get ready to head out, brother. It's 4:25 a.m.
So in this day, in Isaiah 4:1, it tell you what's going to be happening. Was polygyny looked at as being evil, sin?
Yeah, I got to get ready to head out, brother. I'm serious.
Before you go, was it looked at as evil and sin in Isaiah 4:1?
Isaiah 4:1 cannot be used as a text for polygyny.
You still ducking what I'm asking. Was the 7 women that said marry in the footnotes I showed you? You put up a 1989. You probably was born before 1989. So I'm asking you, brother, was it looked at the 7 women? Was that looked at as something that was evil? Was it saying like it was something evil?
Brother, I just answered your question, but I have to head out. So I'm
was it saying that something is evil?
Brother, I have to head out. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate the time.
Was it said it's something evil, though?
You can go back and listen to the conversation and see my answer.
But was it said as something evil is what I'm asking you. It's like it hurts you to answer that question. It literally hurts you to answer that question. Here it is in your presentation. You literally said that it does not say that the man married the 7 women, but then when I showed you that the footnotes also
to be respectful,
then I also showed you that literally not only the footnotes said it, but I also showed you the good word version. I showed you different versions because you said you're not King James Version only.
Yeah.
Asking to marry them, you're saying that look, we don't know. Okay, cool. I'm asking you, does it paint a picture as polygyny being a sin? Seeing that when you read the next verse, it goes on to say that the bud of the Lord be beautiful and glorious. That's going to be a beautiful and glorious time. And the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and the pleasant for them that escaped of Israel. Then he that shall be left in Zion, and he that shall remain in Jerusalem shall be called holy. So you bet not even paint a picture that that's going to be a time of wickedness. It says,
Yeah.
and everyone that shall be
Brother,
among the living in Jerusalem, when the Lord shall wash the filth of the daughters of Zion. So the women are going to have their filth washed away from them. Are you telling me that the women that will have their filthiness washed away from them, are they implying something wicked right here in verse 1?
hey brother, I don't want to just abruptly just leave the call, so I'm just gonna ask you respectfully to allow me to leave so I could get to and do
Can
some
you answer the question before you go?
Okay, brother. I just
Can
said
you
I
answer
already
the
answered
question
it.
before you go, brother?
So brother, I just want to go ahead and
Can you
head
answer
out.
the question before you go? Like, it literally hurts you to answer that.
Okay,
Why does
bro.
it hurt you to answer that simple question, bro?
Being respectful of my time, bro. Can I please just?
Bro, I'm not stopping you. I ain't holding you captive.
Yeah, but
You can run away at any time that you want. You can run away at any time that you want.
Right,
You and I both know that here it is. It's going to be a shortage of men, like you said.
Right.
We also know that it's going to be the women are going to wash away the filth during the time that these 7 women are asking that question.
I'm just trying to be respectful,
all I did was
man.
ask you, brother. I showed you in the notes. I asked you, was polygyny painted as something of filth? Was it painted as something that was wicked? That's all I'm going to answer the question.
Maybe we can finish this conversation another time, brother. But
if you can answer this question, I would love to, but not if you ain't finna answer the question. If you ain't finna answer the question,
well then, brother, I have to head out. Like, honestly, just
you can run away at any time you want.
All right, man. All right, I'll talk to you later, bro. All right.
I mean, hey, life ain't guaranteed. We don't know that.
All right then. All right, bro.
Okay, so let the record show you ran, brother. He ran. That's the thing right here. So let's go back real quick. Let's go back and pull it on up. Here it is. Remember, he says, I am not King James Version only. In the notes, it literally says, be thou our husband, and let us be called thy wives. That's what they wanting there. For so they thought it to be without head and husband. So here it is. If this is going to be a time of holiness, if they're going to have their filthiness washed away, why would this be painted as something that was bad? Why would that be? Why would that be? See, when you deal with so-called Christians, they always want to run from direct questions. Remember, when he tries to go to Mark 10, and he said unto them, whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another, that there says they committed adultery. I asked him, what is adultery? He didn't even know what it meant, but tried to paint a picture and present a case based on a word that he don't even know what it means. Here is the word for that verse. Says nothing about polygyny there. To have unlawful intercourse with another's wife. To commit adultery with. To commit adultery with who? Another's wife. Another's wife. To commit adultery. Literally. He did not know what the word actually meant. Look at this, guys. Right here. When you go down, look here. It says to have unlawful intercourse with another's wife. To commit adultery with. The biblical Greek middle gives this word here, the same word we went to. Commit adultery. Watch this. Of the man. Remember? Now, we didn't go to this one, but I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving to be the cause for fornication. Remember that? Because he wrongfully putting her away. Cause her commit adultery. And whosoever, watch this, shall marry her, which is divorced, do commit adultery. That was the thing I was telling him earlier. Because that woman was wrongfully put away. So we have literally a woman that is divorced. Johnny goes and marry her. She was wrongfully put away. Literally. And whosoever shall divorce his wife, except it be for fornication, which we shown earlier what it meant. Said nothing about polygyny. Then it goes on to say this. Where we at? Yet not in the marginal, talking about the notes. commits the sin of adultery against her, i.e., look at this, that has been put away. And it gives the same scripture that he talked about. This is the same source that he used earlier. So now we see that this word, the against her part, that has been put away. Mark 10. Of the woman. See that? Of the woman. Same thing right here. The verse we just read. You marry her, which is divorce. That's why I kept telling him, bro, if it's wrongfully putting her away. Wrongfully putting her away. So he talked about in his presentation. Where is that? His presentation here. Notice he got his arrow. Adultery against her. That was his argument. Adultery against her. But right here, it tells us that that word, remember, said against her, i.e., meaning example, that has been put away. She was divorced. That's the adultery, and it gives Mark 10 and 11, the same scripture that he put with the and marry another, the same exact thing. So I asked him, well, what does that word mean, brother? What does it mean? Because again, when you look here, Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 10, and the man that committed adultery, watch this, with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery, watch this, with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer was to be that man, and adulteress shall surely be put to death. So surely be put to death. That's the topic of this. When you look at Numbers, the 5th chapter, check this out. We're going to put it in the baby Bible. Right here, check this out. The test for an unfaithful wife. That's adultery. Then the Lord said to Moses, speak to the Israelites and say to them, if a man's wife go astray, and look at this, and is unfaithful to him, so that another man has sexual relations with her, and this is hidden from her husband, and her impurity is undetected, since there is no witness against her, and she has not been caught in the act. And if the feelings of the jealousy come over her husband and he suspects his wife, she is impure, or if he is jealous and suspect her, even though she is not impure, then he is to take his wife to the priest, and he must also take an offering of 1/10 of an ephah and of barley flour on her behalf. He must not pour olive oil in it or put incense on it, because it's a grain offering for jealousy, a reminder offering to draw attention to wrongdoing. The priest shall bring her and have her stand before the Lord. Then he shall take some holy water in water in a clay jar, and put some dust from the tabernacle floor into the water. Verse 18. And the priest has had the woman stand before the Lord, and he shall loosen her hair and place in her hands the reminder offering, the grain offering for jealousy, while he holds the bitter water that brings a curse. Then the priest shall put the woman under oath, and say to her, if no other man has had sexual relation with you, and you have not grown astray and become impure while married to your husband, may this bitter water that brings a curse not harm you. But if you have gone astray while married to your husband and have made yourself impure by having sexual relations with a man other than your husband. So when you deal with this, guys, notice the adultery test was only for the woman that stepped outside of her marriage. The adultery test. When you look at Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 38, check this out. It says, and I will judge you as a woman that breaketh wedlock. We're going to look that word up, because the Lord told the Israelites, our ancestors, that he was going to judge thee, but he compared it to who? As women that breaketh wedlock. What is that? This word right here. wedlock. Na'ath. Look at this. To commit adultery. Always with the wife of another. That's what that is. That's what it means to break wedlock. Like, you got wedding, lock. Lock is an agreement. Covenant. You locked in other words, the song would say. You locked in. So when you look here in Matthew chapter 19, once again, here, the word fornication, look at what it says there. It says nothing about polygyny. Literally, we went over this earlier. When you look here for the word adultery, it proves the point. Sleeping with another man's wife to commit adultery. Remember earlier, the brother tried to mention in his presentation. Where is that? Where we at? Boom. Commit adultery always against her. Well, okay. Well, remember, according to his presentation, he goes to what? The same thing, the same site that I'm at. And right here, look at this. The commits the sin of adultery against her, same thing he had, i.e. example, said what? That she was put away. And it gives the same passage that he tried to use. And when you go dealing with the chapter, it's talking about divorce. Not polygyny. That's the long story short. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, hold on one second. Guys, before we get on up out of here. There's something else I want to pull up. Let's see. Boom. I'm gonna go here. Alrighty. Let me share my screen real quick. Alright, hold on one second. Hit the share. Boom. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. So if you look on the left side of the screen right here, this book is available at propolybook.com. And I go into more detail than what I'm going over here in this video. If you go here and on the right side of the screen is Biblical Polygyny and Sin, Volume 2. That book is yet to be released. More than likely, it might be released hopefully within a month's time, ladies and gentlemen. That being said, I need you Yehuda Yoram Judah the Shootah, Valehi Tiriyot. Shalom. Notice that even right here, even in the commentary, it says nothing about polygyny. Look at what it says right here. And whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another. Notice it says nothing about polygyny. It just says when there is no uncleanness in the case. What is he talking about? Deuteronomy, the 24th chapter, as I told the brother earlier, 1-4. Because you can divorce a woman if there was some uncleanness in her. Then the word erva, which is nakedness, something that was exposed, another topic though. But it says when his former, which is what, the first wife, meaning the woman that he had divorced. So it says when his former wife, while has not injured him by violating the marriage bed. Notice it didn't say another wife there, a second wife. That was a person who he's previously married to. But then the part when it says adultery, committed adultery against her, notice it said to the injury of his lawful wife, or upon her, or with her, with the person he marries. The Syriac, the Persic versions leave out the phrase against her. It leaves that out. Just so you all know that. It literally leaves that out. It just says committed adultery. Because remember, that was one of his other arguments. But even right here, it wasn't understood as polygyny at all. Look, even right here in his Christian commentary, David Guzik, the part right here where it says, if a woman divorces her husband and marries another, she commits adultery. Look at what it says right here. It says nothing about polygyny. This statement of Yeshua, Jesus, shows why it's important to take the whole counsel of God on any given topic. It says, if this were the only passage on divorce and what? Remarriage in the Bible. Nothing about polygyny. Literally, that's what I said earlier. This is about you wrongfully divorced a woman and then went and married somebody else. That's remarriage. That's what this is saying. It says, then we should say that if anyone divorces for any reason, then they committed adultery, and therefore God never permits remarriage in the case of divorce. But taking the whole counsel of God into account, it is impossible to say this. See that? Notice, polygyny ain't even on the table. It's about divorce. But look, it says, number one, there are some that neglect the whole counsel of God and say that God never allows what? Remarriage after divorce. This ain't about polygyny, guys. This ain't about polygyny. And even it's shown here. It says, but when we see what the entire Bible says on the subject, we see that if a divorce is made on biblical grounds, adultery or what? Abandonment by an unbelieving spouse, there is full right to remarry. That's 1 Corinthians 7. Notice he ain't talking about polygyny here. Number two, it says, if a divorce is not based on the biblical grounds, the kind of divorce Jesus or Yeshua referred to here, then there is no right to remarry. That's what he's saying there. This is because as far as God is concerned, the marriage is still together, and to marry another would be adultery. So he's talking about in the case of remarriage. Number three, this means that God looks down from heaven. He does not have three categories: single, married, and divorce. See that? It says he has two categories: single and married. You either bound under a marriage vow or you're not. If you're bound, you can't remarry another. You see that? This is talking about wrongfully divorcing and thinking you can go and marry somebody else after you done dumped this person knowing you still in covenant with them. That was the argument that I was making. But it says if you're not bound, you are free to marry in the Lord. Understanding the whole counsel of God on the subject frees people from the stigma of divorce in the church. This is what Paul was talking about, and the brother tried to slip off and run to that. So understand, this is from the Christian perspective. Notice that they ain't even looking at this as polygyny at all. But he did, although the text didn't say that. Look at this. Some Greek copies continue, and anyone who marries a divorced woman is guilty of adultery. Notice even in the footnotes here. So we're talking about polygyny. Let's move on.
Look at this right here. The 1599 Geneva Bible, right? It tell you up top, dealing with divorcement, not polygyny. But look at this. In verse 9, I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for whoredom, and marry another, committeth adultery. And whosoever marry her which is divorced, do commit adultery. It's the same story. When we click here for the notes, it says, therefore in these days, the laws that were made against adulterers, men who sleep with other men's wife, were not regarded. For they should have what? Needed no divorcement if marriage had been cut asunder with punishable by death. So even here in the notes, no one would have understood this to be a condemnation for polygyny at all. At all.
I tried to be nice when I was speaking with the brother. Notice this verse says, when that day comes, 7 women what? Will. Will is future tense. They will grab one man and say, we will eat our own food and provide our own clothes. Just let us marry you. For your name, take away our disgrace. It said that this will happen. It will happen. We don't know if they did marry. It says that they will do it. This will happen.
The King James Version says what? And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man. It shall happen. This is going to happen. So we will eat our own bread and have our own apparel. Just let us be called by thy name. It says that this shall happen. But he's saying, oh, well, we don't know if it's actually going to happen. Like, come on now. Stop playing on my intelligence. It said it shall happen. That's what Isaiah wrote. It shall happen. It will happen. It's not a matter of if, but when. Because it shall happen.
Remember, if you go back, right? If you rewind, remember we made it clear that this passage, Mark the 10th chapter, and here, Matthew the 19th chapter, even the Luke 16, is talking about the same topic of divorce. The question was, is it lawful to put away his wife, tempting him? And remember, in Matthew 19:3, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife at every cause? So when you look at everybody's combined account, we see that the topic was about divorcing for any cause, for any old reason. Remember that? Because remember, in Deuteronomy 24, it says, when a man have taken a wife and married her, and it came to pass that he find no favor in his eyes, because he had found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house. It says, and when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. And if the latter husband hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, he pass away, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, which is what? The first husband, which send her away, may not take her again to be his wife after that she's defiled, because she done been with another man. But that is abomination before the Most High. And thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Lord your God giveth thee for an inheritance. When you look this word up here, yes. Let's see. Ki yacha ish isha. Here we go. This word here, ervat, uncleanness, nakedness, nudity, as I was talking about earlier, something that was exposed. Here it is. It was saying that he can divorce this woman. He can divorce her. And what most don't know, when you look at the Apocrypha, in the Apocrypha books, when you look here in Ecclesiasticus, going down to chapter 25, says right here, if she go not as thou would have her, cut her off from your flesh, and give her a bill of divorce, and let her go. So, that being said, when you're going back here, Mark the 10th chapter, this was about divorcing for any reason. Remember when we went to the 11th verse, and he said unto them, whosoever shall put away his wife and shall marry another committeth adultery against her. Remember, he did not know what adultery meant. He didn't know that. To have unlawful intercourse with who? Another's wife. Another's wife. To commit adultery with. Literally. Remember earlier here? The against her? In his presentation? That meant what? That was the woman that was put away. Meaning what? She was wrongfully put away. She's wrongfully put away. He didn't know what that meant. Now, when you go here, in the next verse, it paints the same picture. Look. And he said unto them, whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another committeth adultery against her. And if a woman shall put away her husband and what? Be married to another, she committeth adultery. So you have here, and marry another, and with a woman and be married to another. Now remember, his argument was, well, in the Old Testament, that was allowable, but in the New Testament, it's not. Well, in what we call the Old Testament, a woman was never allowed to marry another man at all. So are we saying that what? Oh, well, in the Old Testament, she could have married another man. But in the New Testament, the married another is talking about polygyny. Well, if you saying that, then you got to say that women were allowed to marry other men then. It's the same concept. Here, put away his wife, put away her husband. Marry to another, marry another. This was talking about putting away his wife, dealing with divorce. The word adultery. Let's see what the word adultery means in this verse. Let's see what it is. Let's see what it means in this verse. The same exact thing. Same exact thing. So when you go to 1 Corinthians earlier, one of the arguments I was making was when he tried to go here, and unto the married, I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband, let her not leave him. It says, but if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband. And it says, and let not the husband put away his wife. Notice it didn't say, and let not the husband put away his wife, and if he departs, let him remain unmarried. Let him remain unmarried. It never would have said that. Never would have said that. Why? Because we know that polygyny is not a sin. It's not a crime at all. It says, but to the rest speak I, meaning Paul, not the Lord. If a brother have a wife that believe not, she's a non-believer, and she be pleased to dwell with him, meaning it's pleasant, let him not put her away. So, that being said, notice the verbiage is different for the man than for the woman. The woman had to remain unmarried if she depart. Never said that about the man. The woman had to be reconciled to her husband, meaning she had to go back to her husband. It never said that the man had to go be reconciled back to his wife. Didn't say that. It just told the man, don't divorce her. Don't put her away. The Bible is not pro-divorce at all. Remember in Romans 7, his other argument, it never said for the man which have a wife is bound by the law to his wife as long as she lives or alive. But if the wife be dead, he is free from the law of his wife. It didn't say that. So then if while his wife lives, he be married to another woman, he should be called an adulterer. Never said that. But if his wife be dead, he is free from that law, so that he is no adulterer, although he be married to another woman. It never said that. Only the verbiage is different, only dealing with the woman, which means Paul, who followed Christ, clearly understood that, clearly knew that. He clearly knew that. When you look at the word here for adulteress, let's look it up. Let's see what it says. An adulteress is the intimate alliance with God with the people of Israel, was likened to the marriage to those, look at this, relapse into idolatry, or said to commit adultery, or play the harlot. You can look at what? Ezekiel 16 chapter. Faithless to God, unclean, apostate. An adulteress. Look at that. An adulteress. See that? So, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at, that's what I gave you earlier, Ezekiel 16, to plan the harlot. To plan the harlot. So, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the argument that he's making is literally invalid. The wife is bound by the law to her husband as long as he lives, as long as he's alive. As long as he's alive. Luke 16, 18, same concept. When you look at here, whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another committeth adultery. And whosoever marry her which is put away from her husband committeth adultery. This is talking about divorce, guys. Once again, remember, he didn't even know what the word adultery meant. And it tell you right here, to be an adulterer. Remember, you sleep with another man's wife. To commit adultery with what? Have unlawful intercourse with who? With another's wife. With another's wife. Of a wife to suffer idolatry. This is going into idolatry, of course. Notice we don't see to have unlawful intercourse with another's husband. It don't exist. It don't exist. So that adulterer who goes and lay with that woman who is still technically lawfully married, he's an adulterer. He's an adulterer. That's what this is talking about, ladies and gentlemen. That's what this is talking about. So, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, going back, Matthew 19, which is the same story concerning divorce. The topic was, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife at every cause? That's the topic of the discussion. The brother didn't even know what adultery meant in that text. See, he wasn't ready for me to ask him that. But he still wants to hang on something that does not exist. All you guys got to do is look the word for adultery up in that text, and it'll show you what it actually means. It'll show you what it actually means. Even here, as we learned earlier, and I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication. Except it be for fornication. So, going down, look at this. All you gotta do is scroll down. I'm gonna show you here. Porneia. Forbidding sexual intercourse, adultery, fornication, homosexuality and lesbianism, intercourse with animals, sexual intercourse with close relatives. Notice it didn't say nothing about polygyny or having more than one wife. Doesn't exist. Sexual intercourse with a divorced man or woman. With a divorced man or woman. Notice right here, remember he tried to go to Mark 10 and 11. It didn't say sexual intercourse with a divorced man or woman or another wife. It just says what? Sexual intercourse with what? A divorced man or a divorced woman. And it gives the same scripture that he tried to use right here. Remember, and marry another. Notice it says nothing about polygyny. A man having a second wife. A man having another wife. It used the very scripture that he used. In a metaphorical sense, idolatry, in other words. Harlotry, we know what that is. Prostitution, adultery, incest. In the figurative speech, idolatry. Incest, Leviticus 18, Leviticus 20. Adultery, having sex with another man's wife. Harlotry, prostitution. Look at this. To prostitute one's body lust to hire. To give one's unlawful sexual intercourse. Where can we find that? Basically Leviticus 18, Leviticus 20, Leviticus 19:29. To commit fornication, in the metaphorical sense, idolatry. See that? Idolatry. To indulge in unlawful lust, because there's lust that's lawful, and there's some that's unlawful, either by sex or in the figurative speech, idolatry. To commit fornication. Nowhere do we see having a second wife. That does not exist. No different from when you look at 1 Corinthians 7. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, when you look that word fornication up here, what does that mean? Same thing we just went over earlier. Nothing about polygyny at all. To avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, let everyone have his own husband. Remember dealing back with 1 Corinthians. I don't have to go too much time on that because I got a video on YouTube about this already. It's reported commonly there is fornication among you. And such fornication, this type of fornication that he's speaking about, is not so much as named among the Gentiles that one shall have not his mother, but his father's wife. Not his mama though, but his father's wife. That lets me know that that man had another woman, because it said
his father's wife, not his mother, but that would be his mother-in-law. His father's wife. Look the word for fornication up.
Strong's G 4202. Parnaya. Parnaya.
You look that word up. Same exact thing that we just got done speaking about. Nothing about polygyny at all. Remember, Leviticus 18 verse 8 says this. The nakedness of who? Your father's wife, not your mother, but your father's wife, shall you not uncover. It is your father's nakedness. See that? But look at this, the nakedness of your sister, the daughter of your father, or the daughter of who? Your mother. It separates. Whether she be born at home, but look at this, born abroad. I mean, he had to have other women there. Even their nakedness, thou shalt not uncover. See that? So, look at this. The nakedness of your father or the nakedness of your mother shall you not uncover. She is your mother. You shall not uncover her nakedness. So it says she is your mother. But right here in verse 8, he says your father's wife. Not your mother, but your father's wife. That's another woman. That's another woman. That's incest. That's a form of incest. Remember it said here, none of you shall approach any that is near kin to him. That's your don't do incest. To uncover their nakedness, I am the Lord. So right here, don't uncover the nakedness of your mother. But in verse 8, he says, and also your father's wife. That means he had to have another woman. Which we see here, it is reported commonly there's fornication among you, and such fornication is not so much named among the Gentiles, that one should have his father's wife, not his mother, but his father's wife. His father's wife, not the man's mother. They were wife swapping in Corinth. And that's why you see what you see in 1 Corinthians 7 and 2. Those who watch my video would definitely know this though. He was speaking about what was written and reported to him, meaning by letters. So that's the long story short, ladies and gentlemen. This was about his father's wife. They were wife swapping. That's the long story short.
I'm not the last wife, I'm the first wife. I'm not the last wife, I'm the second wife. I'm not the last wife, I'm the third wife. I'm not the last wife, I'm the fourth wife. I'm not the last wife, I'm the fifth wife. I'm the last wife, and this is our king, and this is our husband. Yay!
And this is the house of Shootah.
My wives have been amazing. Religion is how we're living. All of them get my back. All of them submissive. They're all about sisterhood and family. Our family number's 244, and they won't be jealous if I get another wife.